morning, football. We're presented by Audi, live in New York City. It is Wednesday, October 25th. Kay Adams, Nate Burleson, Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt, my favorite day of the week. Let's get right to it. Time for the All right, we have a full show. We've got lots of guests, lots of games. It's Whiteboard Wednesday. It's Which Guy Wednesday. We'll help you set your fantasy teams. But right now, we want to take a look at some of the biggest stories from around the league entering Week 8. I will hit you guys with a statement, and you tell me whether you believe it or not. Ooh! Yeah. All right, here we go. The 2017 Falcons, right? We had the Super Bowl rematch a week ago. Did not go as planned. I thought that offense would get going. Every offense gets going up against the New England Patriots. So, Mr. Sark, because, ooh, sorry,
chime in, Mr. Bing.
What do you think? Believe it or not, the Falcons can get back to the Super Bowl with Sark as their offensive coordinator. This was a hot topic earlier. Let's get heated.
Okay, I'll go big. Okay, I'll go deeper. Can't get to the Super Bowl. I don't think they can get to a wild card game. I honestly thought they should have replaced them after the last game. They haven't. Guys, they've scored 7 points in the last 6 quarters on a garbage touchdown to Julio Jones. The Miami game was terrible. The running game doesn't touch the ball in the second half. And then we paid Devontae Freeman all this money in the offseason to have 3rd and goal at the 1, and we throw it and we run a cute little jet sweep to the smallest guy on the field. That, to me, against the Patriots was as bad as Ricardo Lockett, Russell Wilson targeting the Malcolm Butler on a smaller stage, but it was that bad. I absolutely do not think they have to make a change.
I'm going to be patient on this one, and this is conservative,
Go ahead.
rational me. I'm going to say I believe they can still do it because I've looked at what they've done this season, and all 3 of those losses were in the AFC East. Like, they were out of conference, out of division losses. They lost to the Patriots, obviously. They lost to the Dolphins. They lost to the Bills. Those are 3 teams that are irrelevant for them in the actual division. They're undefeated in the NFC.
Okay.
Right now, they're a 3-3 team. Last year, they were a 4-3 team and made it to the Super Bowl. They got it hot. So I think
looks bad.
It does look bad. And 2 straight losses, especially the one to Miami, where you're up 17 points at half, really looks bad. But I think the Falcons can still get it together, regardless of who the OC is, because they have the talent on the field. And if Matt Ryan is an MVP, like he was last year, I don't think we should be. It's time to show.
Do it.
It's time to throw this team on your back and do it regardless of who the OC is. At some point, you do have to lay some blame on the players, and I think these players need to look at each other and say, hey, wait a second. We're the Atlanta Falcons. Let's go.
Let's go.
Listen, we can point to all the similarities, the record, and even the pass plays. They're around 220 from last year and this year. So if you're looking at it from a numbers perspective, yeah, they seem like they're the same team, but it's not about how many plays or how many things look the same. It's about how creative they are in game planning, and that's the difference. The difference between Sark and Kyle Shanahan is that the creativity was there, and you see the disconnect between Matt Ryan and the sideline. Last year, Matt Ryan would look at the sideline, and exactly they were thinking on the same wavelength, which is the reason why they were so successful. So to answer your question, Kay, I say no. They haven't showed me enough creativity to go out there and win games. Now, you can look at everything they're doing quarter to quarter, but if you pay attention to the Falcons, by the time they get to the 3rd and 4th quarter, things look very similar. Last year, 3rd and 4th quarter, Kyle Shanahan was mixing up. Until they learn how to mix up that playbook, they're not going to get to the Super Bowl.
I thought their defense was going to be so improved, and if Desmond Trufant back was going to be such a great thing. Not the case so far. He's allowing a lot of touchdowns, so there is a lot of talent there. But I remember making, this is before Tom Petty, rest in peace, passed away. I said it's like having the Heartbreakers without Tom Petty and not having Shanahan there, and it's played out that way. I do like that stat, though, about them being 4-3 before turning it around and going to the Super Bowl last year. All right, guys, moving on. Believe it or not, the Broncos have lost 3 of 4, including a shutout loss to the Chargers Sunday, which we'll get to later on the show because we've not talked about the Chargers enough. But they're taking on the Chiefs Monday Night Football in Kansas City at Arrowhead. Are the Broncos playing for their season on Monday night, believe it or not?
I believe it. I believe it because they're playing for a lot of things. Trevor Siemian could be playing for his career. And it's not, here's the reason this is so scary. It's the classic hashtag check the schedule, okay? Because they're going, it's not just they go at KC, they're at Philadelphia, and then New England. I think the 3 best teams in the NFL right now. So you have to win this game. You have to score in this game. Coming off a shutout on the national game, Siemian, you got to do something. I think they are playing for their lives right now.
I believe it also. I think I look at the standings. They lose to the Chiefs. They're down 3 games in the division to Kansas City, and LA Chargers are coming, and the Raiders, their offense looked pretty good on Thursday. Broncos last year, offense, Siemian now, okay, here he is. He's the guy. He's been crowding it.
Right.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. And their coach, Vance Joseph, is a defensive-minded coach. You know, he played offense at some point, but he is a defensive-minded coach at heart. And I don't think there's going to be a magic switch turned on Siemian. I think Siemian has struggled. And this is it. You lose to the Chiefs.
It's a mess. Then if you get shut out again, is it Lynch? Like, then you're in a mess.
And you said defensive-minded. This is a defensive-minded team. That is the strength. That's the obvious part of the Denver Broncos. But 42 points in the last 4 games by this offense is terrible. So I don't care how good your defense is. If you're not putting up points, you can't lean on this defense. This isn't Peyton Manning going out there willing his team to the Super Bowl. It's a lot different in this case. There's too many teams that are explosive on offense that can go out there and make plays. You have to put up points.
Emmanuel Sanders being hurt doesn't help the schedule, like you said. Wow. At Chiefs Monday night, then at Eagles Patriots over the next 3. Woof. All right. The injury to Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that's totally changed the NFC in, I think, everyone's opinion. Meanwhile, the Lions, they've lost 2 in a row. The Vikings, they've won 3 straight. We don't know what's going on with the quarterback situation in a lot of those teams. So, believe it or not, the NFC North goes through Minnesota.
Oh, I'll jump right in. Let's just say the NFC North goes through Minneapolis with a stop meaning prayer. Yes, Kay. The Minneapolis team that they're crowning the Vikings. This is the squad that everybody's looking at in the NFC North. With Rodgers down, the offense for the Detroit Lions struggling, the Chicago Bears just kind of basically trying to stay alive every single week. This is the most consistent squad. Even with Cook going down, the carousel quarterbacks, not knowing who was there, I have faith in Case Keenum. You got Thielen, Diggs, and, of course, Rudolph. These are weapons that guys can lean on each game. So, for me, it is the Vikings right now.
And they've won 3 straight with their third-string quarterback.
Until we see consistency from the Detroit Lions, I can't give the nod to my team.
I don't believe it goes through Minnesota. I believe it goes through Detroit, and I'll tell you why.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. I look at the guys on offense for the Vikings, and the defense is unbelievable. Like that, Mike Zimmer defense is great. But look at the guys on offense, and you might be relying late December, January games on Case Keenum, your third-string quarterback, Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon, backup running back.
Played well last week.
And then Diggs is injured right now, and I look at the quarterback position. I like Case. I love Case Keenum. Good guy. Matt Stafford is an all-world quarterback.
Of course.
And if he is the highest-paid quarterback in the league, and he is what we expect him to be, he is able to carry that Lions team in a season without Aaron Rodgers in the division and in a season where the Bears are rebuilding. This should go through Detroit. They were a wild-card team last year. Aaron Rodgers is out of the picture. If the Lions are a team to ever be reckoned with, if ever there was a season, it's this one. I'm going with Matt Stafford over Case Keenum. I like the quarterback situation. I think quarterbacks get it done. And defense be damned, I think it's going to be going through Detroit.
But there's like a healthy Stafford asterisk there, right?
Yeah,
coming off the bye now, maybe he's better. He's just coming off the bye.
And he's got Pittsburgh this weekend, which could be a nightmare.
Maybe. Or maybe they'll do what Jacksonville did to Pittsburgh. Listen, we're talking about Stranger Things today. I'm staying in Motown, and it's real simple. They went to Minneapolis and won. They beat the Vikings, and Amir Abdullah ran for 94 yards, which for the Lions is like 300 yards. They beat them. They have the better quarterback. I didn't think I'd be saying that this morning, but I think it goes through Detroit. We're going to find out a lot about them this weekend coming off that bye. Detroit. Yes.
I used to know you.
What do you mean, Kay? Do tell.
What is this flip-flop heel turn?
What do you mean?
Motown, Detroit, Schmotroit thing you're doing now?
Well, Aaron Rodgers suffered an injury.
Used to be with me.
Yes.
Is that really what it? That's.
You guys used to be on the Lions boat, and now, Kate.
No, I like the Lions.
It wasn't the SS Packers we were on. It was the SS Rodgers, and is now dry docked, and so I'm on a different vessel.
Dry docked.
No SS Trubisky for you?
That's a little dinghy we're working on. We're trying to expand it, yes.
Eddie Jackson jet ski? Nothing going on? All right, believe it or not, guys, running back is the most exciting position in football. Peter?
I'm saying believe it. We've got the young guys. I look at Fournette. I look at Gurley. I look at, of course, Ezekiel Elliott. All these young guys are having Melvin Gordon. Wide receivers were always the spectacular, right? The quarterbacks were always but this year might be the year of the running back, and it's because of the youth. Kareem Hunt, Tariq Cohen. I can go on and on and on. Jordan Howard. These guys excite me. I think the running back is back, and I think next year, guys, I'm going to give you a little tease here. I think the first pick in the NFL draft could end up being a running back. Saquon Barkley out of Penn State could be a running back. That is how good that kid is. So I think the landscape is changing. It's going back. It's cyclical. Look at all these guys. I haven't even mentioned Le'Veon Bell. The running back is the most exciting position in the sport.
Nate, you got to run anger on this one. All right, because I know you're going to have some things to say. Peter nailed it, though. Look at the youth right now. Fournette is Bo Jackson. Alvin Kamara is jumping over defenders. Kareem Hunt was taking over the league for a month. Dalvin Cook was incredible taking over the league before he got hurt. Let's look at the young wide receivers. Corey Davis, John Ross, Mike Williams. Where are those dudes? It is a running back season right now.
Okay. Speak on it. Tell them about it. Go.
As much as I want to tell you that the wide receivers are spectacular and we still run the league, You guys are right. Listen, AB is going to continue to light up this league and torch every DB that he faces. But when it comes to the running backs, when it comes to Gurley, Fournette, Le'Veon Bell, and all the hosts of young talent that we see in this league, this is, you said, a cyclical league, and it comes back around, and everything comes full circle. Right now, it is about the 3-down back. Remember a couple years ago, we were saying, oh, you need a running back by committee, you need the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
I think teams are looking for that one big bruiser, and they're coming in waves every single season.
Look at the good teams, right? Gurley in the Rams.
Gurley,
right?
too.
This is it. Like, you've got
Steelers.
The
The Jags.
You know what hurts Odell being out?
10 teams have changed their quarterback since week 1. So
Okay.
there's a lot of parity at quarterback and a lot of different, levels of play. And not to mention the fact that the running backs are so much more involved in the passing game right now, just in the league and the landscape. That's why running backs are featured.
Yeah.
There are 7 running backs that account for more than 45% of the touches on their teams.
You know what's crazy, 2K?
Wild.
And David Johnson is out, and he's the ultimate master of that, and we don't even have him, and it's still that good.
All right, there we have it for Believe It or Not. Exciting showdown ahead tomorrow. It's the Ravens and the Dolphins right here on NFL Network. For more on this matchup, here's our very own Tiffany Blackman.
Coach Adam Gase didn't have an update for us in regards to quarterback Jay Cutler, who is dealing with multiple cracked ribs, and they are just taking it day to day, though the team did make some roster moves, releasing corner Byron Maxwell and signing quarterback David Fales, who was here during the offseason. But right now, this team preparing to play on Thursday night with backup quarterback Matt Moore, who has been in this position before, most recently coming in to lead this team to the playoffs last season in place of the injured Ryan Tannehill. But Moore has been one of the most reliable backup quarterbacks in this league. In his 15 starts, he has averaged around 23 points per game. And he did address the media today. Not a whole lot to say, but you could make the argument that for him, it is business as usual. And one of the most telling things about Moore and what he means to this team is what offensive coordinator Clyde Christensen told us what happened after Jay Cutler went down on Sunday. He